Henry David Thoreau once said, "Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it." I'm sure the man in our next story would agree. He admits he keeps so busy that he doesn't have time to fully appreciate his accomplishments. Dave Annarino spoke with the former NCO who's living the dream and sharing the wealth.
There's a lot that we do. We have food drives. You're going to have catering, security to construction. You're going to have massive promotion parties.
These days, the former Ranger cook spends much of his time giving back.
Those same guidelines and leadership qualities that I learned in the military, I continue to use them here within the Ranger Group.
But years ago, he was the one in need.
I had to live in my car in a Volkswagen for almost 2 years.
His wife had a serious condition that required medical benefits they didn't have. Out of money and options, Jones found himself in the recruiting office.
He said, well, if you come in as an airborne ranger, we'll give you a bonus, and you can come in immediately. Well, I had no idea what an airborne ranger was. Nobody told me that I would have to jump out of a perfectly good aircraft.
And when Ranger wasn't jumping out of planes or cooking for hundreds, he created ice sculptures for extra cash. Until one day, a group of familiar faces approached him.
Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, and Matthew, and some others spoke to me about being in a movie.
Seen here, Jones not only played a part, he trained the actors for war.
And I was hard on them because I was a Ranger, and I wasn't concerned about Hollywood. I was a Ranger, and I was given a job and a mission and task condition standards, and I had to train those guys, and that's what I was going to do. I didn't want to hear any sniveling. Morgan Freeman, Morgan couldn't walk and chew gum. Then I found out, bless his heart, he was in the Air Force, and he got kicked out of the Air Force, so I really gave him a hard time.
He still has the rifle he carried in the film.
As I'm watching the fort, and Denzel and Morgan and Matthew and I are laying together, I start to see sand pop up. And what had happened, these guys started leaving the rods in their weapon. And so they were actually shooting at the fort.
To this day, Denzel and Jones are good friends and both significant contributors to the Fisher Foundation.
He gets more recognition and publicity for doing what he's done with me than he has with any of his Oscars.
Ranger's life experiences and accolades are many, from jumping out of planes with former presidents to creating a booming business. He never forgot his roots.
I'm trying to bring on service-disabled veterans and help mentor them and educate them in business so that they can own their own company.
So what began as a simple will to survive and provide for his family led to a life he never expected because of the persistence and an attitude of a young man who set foot in the right door.
Going after something that's the same way that I learned going out of the plane. I didn't want to go out of that plane. I was petrified of heights. But once you go out, there's no turning back.
I'm Dave Annarino in Washington.